Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to be featuring a Brawl deck with Syr Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale, as our commander, as part of our series of Brawl videos featuring commanders from Throne of Eldraine. Syr Gwyn was not released as part of the main Throne of Eldraine set, but as part of a commander expansion, and was the commander of a pre-constructed Brawl deck when Arena first introduced that format as a special event. Syr Gwyn is expensive, so as a commander focused around equipment, doesn't see as much play as, say, Nahiri Forged in Fury, who gets a discount the more equipment you have in play. But Syr Gwyn can still have an immediate impact when played, so long as you have another knight in play that you can equip for free with Syr Gwyn's ability and attack with right away. And I should mention that at time of release, this is probably released after Pioneer Masters has been released on Arena, but it was recorded before that, so there are no cards from Pioneer Masters in the deck. I've broken the deck down into categories, so let's go through them now. First up is our mana acceleration. Despite the fact that Syr Gwyn costs 6 mana, we don't have a lot of room for ramp artifacts because we need to include lots of knights and equipment to synergize with our commander. But we are playing most of the 2-mana ramp artifacts on Arena: Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Guardian Idol, Mind Stone, Solar Transformer, and the Iron Crag, which we can also choose to transform into an equipment whenever we play a legendary creature. At 3 mana, File of Galadriel lets us draw an additional card whenever we draw cards while empty-handed, and can double how much life we gain if our life total is low, while the Celestis can provide card selection and gain us life as it switches between day and night. Next are the bulk of our knights to equip for free whenever Syr Gwyn is in play. We also have a few knights sprinkled into other categories as well. At 1 mana, Dauntless Bodyguard can protect a key creature, while Knight of the Ebon Legion can win games by itself if it goes unanswered, thanks to its activated ability to get +3/+3 and Death Touch, and the fact that it picks up a +1/+1 counter whenever a player loses 4 or more life on our turn. Fervent Champion buffs another knight's power when it attacks, and with First Strike wears equipment well, and also discounts the equip cost to attach equipment to it. Triumphant Adventurer also wears equipment well, as it has Death Touch, as well as First Strike on our turn, and provides incremental advantage by venturing into the dungeon when it attacks. Merry Esquire of Rohan has First Strike when he's equipped, and draws a card whenever he and another legendary creature attack. Danitha Capuchin, Paragon, discounts our equipment spells, while Radek Tal Zealot could also be put into the card advantage category because he puts additional knight spells into our hand which we draft from his spellbook whenever we attack with 1 or more knights. Next we have all our equipment. There is a lot of equipment to choose from, even on Arena, so that makes it difficult to decide what equipment to include while still leaving room for the other spells we need to make the deck work. Colossus Hammer provides an enormous buff, and we have ways of discounting its otherwise prohibitive equip cost, while Shadow Spear gives a creature a small buff, trample, and lifelink, and has an activated ability to make permanents the opponent controls lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Plate Armor provides a substantial buff and Ward 1 when equipped, and its equip cost gets a discount for each other equipment we have in play. Dancing Sword is extremely efficient to equip, and can transform into a flying creature if we need an additional evasive threat. While the new Chainsaw from Duskmourn deals 3 damage to a creature when it enters, and adds more power to the creature it equips the more other creatures die. Steel Claw Lance can be equipped to knights for just a single mana, while Black Blade Reforged buffs the equipped creature more and more the more lands we have in play, and isn't too expensive to equip to legendary creatures. The new Celestial Armor from Foundations equips to a creature when it enters, protecting the creature it equips, while buffing its power and giving it flying. Maul of the Skyclaves equips to a creature when it enters, and gives the equipped creature +2/+2 flying and first strike, while Mask of Griselbrand gives flying and lifelink, and lets us draw cards whenever a creature equipped with it dies. Anduril, Flame of the West, creates 2 tapped 1/1 flying spirit tokens when the equipped creature attacks, and those spirits are attacking if the equipped creature is legendary, while Sword of Fire and Ice and Sword of Forge and Frontier are the 2 swords from that cycle that fit best into this deck, each one protecting the equipped creature from 2 different colors and providing card advantage when the equipped creature hits the opponent. Meanwhile, Sword of Vengeance provides a buff to the equipped creature's power and gives it multiple keywords. Hexgold Hoverwings enters attached to a 2/2 Rebel token, gives the equipped creature flying, and buffs all our equipped creatures. While Bladehold Cleaver also enters attached to a Rebel token, and lets us draft a spell from its spellbook that synergizes with artifacts or equipment whenever the creature equipped with it dies. Meanwhile, the new Leyline Axe from Foundations can be put on the battlefield for free if it is in our opening hand. Dragonwing Glider also enters attached to a Rebel token, and gives the equipped creature +2/+2 flying and haste, while Embercleave can win games out of nowhere, as it can be flashed in at a discount the more creatures we control that are attacking, equips to a creature for free when it enters, and gives +1/+1 trample and double strike. Next we have our equipment synergy spells. Kemba's Outfitter perpetually discounts an equipment's equip cost, while Sigarda's Aid lets us play our equipment at instant speed and automatically equips an equipment we play to a creature when it enters. Blacksmith's Talent creates a sword token, and as it is leveled up, attaches an equipment to a creature for free at the start of combat, and eventually turns every creature we play into a massive threat. Cole the Forge Master gives our non-token creatures that are equipped recursion, and buffs any equipped creature tokens, although I don't believe we can make any in the deck, while Rayav Master Smith gives attacking equipped creatures double strike. Halvar God of Battle gives equipped creatures double strike and lets us attach an equipment to a creature for free at the start of combat. Halvar can also be played as Sword of the Realms, which returns a creature equipped with it to our hand when it dies. Bruenor Battlehammer buffs our equipped creatures, and once per turn can let us attach an equipment for free, while Astor, Bearer of Blades, can find an equipment in the top 7 cards of our library and put it in our hand, while discounting equip costs. Our next category consists of spells that provide card advantage, many of which we could have also put in the previous category because they synergize with equipment. SRAM Senior Edificer draws a card whenever we cast an equipment spell, while Stoneforge Mystic searches up any equipment we want and can let us put expensive equipment into play at a discount. Inti, Seneschal of the Sun, can buff an attacking creature if we discard a card, and whenever we do, exiles the top card of our library, which we can play until end of turn, while Stormfist Crusader draws each player an additional card at the beginning of our upkeep. Fighter class searches up any equipment, and as it is leveled up, discounts equip costs and can force the opponent to make disadvantageous blocks. Acclaimed Contender can find a knight or equipment in the top 5 cards of our library if we control another knight when it enters, while Kellen the Fey-Blooded has an adventure that lets us search up an equipment and buffs all our other creatures the more equipment is attached to him. Akiri Fearless Voyager draws a card whenever we attack with 1 or more equipped creatures, and can remove equipment from a creature to give it indestructible. Forging the Tyrite Sword creates treasures on the first 2 chapters, and on the 3rd chapter searches up Halvar or any other equipment, while Showdown of the Scalds exiles the top 4 cards of our library on the first chapter, and on the next 2 chapters puts +1/+1 counters on a creature whenever we cast a spell. Finally, Nihiri Forged in Fury gets a discount the more equipment we have in play, and exiles a card from the top of our library which we can play until end of turn for each attacking equipped creature we control, and also allows us to play equipment spells exiled this way for free. Our last category consists of removal. We have the extremely efficient Swords to Plowshares at 1 mana, while Murderous Rider has an adventure, Swift End, that can destroy any creature or planeswalker. It's also a knight for our synergies. Rebel Salvo, meanwhile, can be cost for as little as 1 red mana if we have enough equipment in play. Cavalier of Dawn, which is also a knight, destroys any non-land permanent when it enters, and can return an artifact to our hand from the graveyard when it dies, while Vona de Yedo, the Antifax, who is also a knight, destroys any non-land, non-token permanent when he enters, and lets us create a duplicate of that permanent in our hand if we discard a card. Finally, Ruinous Ultimatum is a one-sided board wipe that destroys all of the opponent's non-land permanents. In our mana base, we're playing most of the dual lands in our colors that come into play untapped most of the time, along with the Mardu Triland, Savai Triome, which can also be cycled if we don't need it as a land. We also have one of each basic land in case we need to search them up, along with Command Tower, a must-have in any multicolored Brawl deck. We have all the fetch lands that search up mountains, plains, and swamps, and these can find our Savai Triome, our Shock lands, and our Surveil lands. We're also playing Cavern of Souls to make it so that our night spells can't be countered, and Unclaimed Territory to fix our mana to cast night spells. Tournament Grounds, meanwhile, fixes our mana for night and equipment spells. We have a few utility lands as well. Castle Ardenvale can create 1/1 human tokens, while Minas Tirith and Castle Lochthwain can draw cards. Iganjo, Seat of the Empire, and Takanuma, Abandoned Mire, can be channeled for additional utility. Mount Doom can ping the opponent, or be sacrificed along with a legendary artifact to destroy all but 2 creatures of our choice. Finally, Axgard Armory can be sacrificed to search up any equipment and put it in our hand. So that's our Syr Gwyn deck. Now it's time to take it into the queue and play some games. On the play, no ramp, but I don't have a lot in the deck, so I probably have to mulligan pretty aggressively to find ramp. And since I'm on the play, I don't want to do that because you don't get that extra draw step. And I've got 3 lands, so I think this is a fine opening hand. I've got Stormfist, Crusader as an early play. And I can equip Steel Claw Lance to it on turn 3. If this were the sort of Forge and Frontier, then that would make Stormfist Crusader harder for opponent's deck to interact with, but I think that's fine. And then the Micro Tyrant, the fungus tokens it creates can't block, so even though it goes wide with tokens, they don't get in the way. So I think we can keep this. And then we'll start by searching up Savai Triome, so that Castle Lochthwain comes into play untapped, and we can play Stormfist Crusader on 2. Akiri, Fearless Voyager. Opponent needs a tap land. I think we want to get Stormfist Crusader something attached to Stormfist Crusader first. There's some ramp. I could play Arcane Signet and Steel Claw Lance, but then I can't equip the Steel Claw Lance. And I think I want to equip the Lance this turn, so that next turn when I attack with Stormfist Crusader, Akiri draws a card. Although, on the other hand, next, if I play Arcane Signet, next turn I can play Akiri and equip Steel Claw Lance. So maybe that is the play. We'll fetch Plains. Attack. Opponent plays the Myco Tyrant. Lampad attacks. They didn't descend, the Myco Tyrant does not trigger. Alright. Kellen and Akiri are not knights. So Tournament Grounds only adds colored mana for Sword of Fire and Ice and Plate Armor. If I play Plate Armor, it's equipped 2. And then, thanks to drawing an untapped land with Tournament Grounds, we can hold up Akiri's ability. We draw a fighter class. Now, admittedly, Stormfist Crusader is giving opponent a full grip. I'm surprised they sacrificed Lampad. And they could have held up Corrupted Conviction to sacrifice Insect, or have the option of activating Lampad, but I guess maybe they wanted to descend. Opponent discards Reassembling Skeleton. Alright, land is good. Okay, let's see now. If I search up Embercleave, I could equip it by attacking with both Akiri and Stormfist Crusader, but then I would be tapped out. Sword of Vengeance also taps me out. I kind of want to be able to hold up Akiri's ability. So maybe it's Sword of Fire and Ice. Steel Claw Lance falls off. That's something I've noticed in testing and should have been paying attention to in this game, is that the swords that provide protection do sometimes not work so well with some of your other equipment. Alright, we can take out the Micro Tyrant and draw another card. Opponent's down to 12, and that's enough for opponent. Alright. So despite our misplay there with the Sword of Fire Dice removing Steel Claw Lance, we still managed to get her done. Alright then, on we go. On the draw, only 2 lands, but we do have plenty of ramp. This is, in fact, statistically unlikely to have 2 ramp artifacts in our opening hand. Mary is an early play. And we are in the draw, so we get an extra draw step, so we're more likely to draw into lands. So I think we'll keep this. No equipment to synergize with Rebel Salvo. Showdown of the Scalds to refuel. Don't draw the land. There's our land. Alright, and then what do we pick with Cold Steel Heart? I think black or red. I think we pick red. Opponent ramps with Spelunking. Alright, so I can play File and Mary. Alright, I don't get a discount. Didn't draw a land, which I would have liked. But I think we need to kill Knight of the Stampede, because otherwise they can play Pantlaza here. And then let's search up an equipment. And drill. Because if we equip it to Mary, we create attacking tokens. Okay. And that's enough for opponent. I guess they must have been stuck on mana. They only had Forests and Cavern of Souls, so they weren't able to cast their commander. Well, sometimes that's how the games go. So we'll take it. On we go. On the draw, which is pretty unfortunate. So if we want to play Fervent Champion on one, we have to fetch either Mountain or a Shock Land with Bloodstained Mire. And we should probably get a Shock Land. Can't play Stormfist Crusader on 2 with current mana. This would be better if it were Sword, Forge, and Frontier, because that would completely blank opponent. No ramp, but we don't have that much ramp in the deck. So I think we'll try it. Alright, Swamp was a great draw. So let's fetch... I think I get a dual land here. Do I not have Blood Crypt in this deck? Yeah, I guess I need to pay more attention to my mana base. Well, Sacred Foundry it is. I'm not playing as many black spells, so that's probably why I don't have Blood Crypt in here. But I should probably be playing it over something like the Surveil land. Alright, and of course, opponent drops has all the extra lands in play for Azusa. No attacks. Play Silverback Elder on turn 3. Alright, I can kill Azusa with Chainsaw. I can replay her and then just destroy Chainsaw with Silverback Elder. I think it's Knight of the Ebon Legion. There's really no point. I'd be better off killing Llanowar Elves and accepting that Chainsaw is going to get destroyed. I think I will to be mana efficient. And then I can equip Chainsaw to Fervent Champion. Don't have attacks. I mean, Stormfist Crusader forces them to trade Azusa. I don't really think that's worth it. And then next turn... Alright, opponent doesn't have a play, they just play a land. I'm surprised they didn't attack with Silverback Elder, since I was tapped out and didn't have enough power to kill it. I don't want to trade Stormfist Crusader for Azusa. And then Knight of the Ebon Legion could attack, but I think we want it on blocks, and then I think we keep up the Knight's ability. Opponent ramps. It's Nykthos. Opponent almost attacks, which would have been a big mistake, but reconsiders. Wouldn't mind some removal. 2 lands. I can play Black Blade Reforged, hold up Knight of the Ebon Legion. Could also play Sword of Fire and Ice, but I think I need to keep Knight of Ebon Legion back. Opponent's still ramping. I mean, they've hardly needed to destroy my equipment. It hasn't really made much of a difference. And they find land off the top with Courser of Crufix. And another land. Alright, now they destroy an artifact or enchantment. Destroys Black Blade Reforged. Alright, I don't think there's anything that gets me out of this. I could rant with Celestis, but that just gets destroyed as soon as they play a creature off Silverback Elder. Could play Syr Gwyn. She's not really doing anything. I guess I might as well play Celestis since I can still activate Knight of the Ebon Legion. Alright. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. Okay, if they have a draw spell... Conduit of Worlds. They don't have any lands in the graveyard. Thorn Mammoth. Okay. Alright then, we're done here. Good game. I'm just going to kill Knight of the Ebon Legion with Thorn Mammoth, and there's not really anything I can do about that. Well, we got by Azusa. It's amazing how an innocuous commander like Azusa can just go haywire. Anyway, hopefully we'll have some better luck, like being on the play. That would be nice. Anyway, on we go. On the draw, I've got Triumphant Adventurer, which I can cast on 2 thanks to Tournament Grounds. Plate Armor, Stoneforge Mystic. So I think this is keepable. We'll lead with Elegant Parlor. Opponent plays Sylvan Tutor. Looks for Priest of Titania. So Elrond synergizes with Scrying. That was a theme in Lord of the Rings Limited, although unfortunately the blue-green scry deck was possibly the worst deck in the format. With Priest of Titania, it looks like they're going with elf synergies. I will take another land. Mount Doom, though, does cost life. And there's Priest of Titania. We'll play Triumphant Adventurer. Opponent is definitely playing Elf Synergy. And Hardened Scales to go with Elrond's ability. Elrond now costing 2 mana, thanks to Urza's Incubator. Would like some removal. Let's scry with Triumphant Adventurer here. And we'll send land to the bottom. There's land. We have 3 in hand, so we don't need more. And then we can play Sundown Pass and play Dauntless Bodyguard and Stoneforge Mystic. And then if Stoneforge Mystic is still alive by next turn, we can put Sword of Forge and Frontier from our hand onto the battlefield for only 2 mana instead of its costing cast of 3 mana. And that should be pretty good against a green elf deck, since most elves are green. So let's get Sword of Forge and Frontier. Important to note that because the equipped creature has protection from red, I cannot equip red equipment to it. There's Paradise Druid. And the Huntmaster, which makes 1/1 elf tokens. Alright. Land. And then who to equip Sword of Forge and Frontier to? If they double block Triumphant Adventurer, both of their creatures die for nothing. So it doesn't need to be equipped. So I think we equip Dauntless Bodyguard here. Looks like opponent can do something. There's a held priority there. And then I think I would rather ramp. Alright, and then I can play another land, and with the treasure, I can play Blackblade Reforged. Sword of Fire and Ice. Too bad I didn't hit a land. with Sword of Forge and Frontier. There goes Sword of Fire and Ice. Opponent plays Elrond. They've got one card in hand. Which bounces all my stuff. Because of course they have Priest of Titania. Alright, so the Priest of Titania has to go. So I think we chainsaw that. Let's search for an untapped land with Bloodstained Mire here. We got Sacred Foundry. Alright, Priest of Titania has to go. Triumphant Adventurer as a blocker, and then I think Stoneforge Mystic. And then what equipment do we search up this time? Maybe something with lifelink, because our life total is getting a little low. Sword of Vengeance, no. So Mask of Grizzlebrand, which also gives flying. Shadow Spear is a little cheaper, so I think it's Shadow Spear here. Alright, opponent hits land. Attacks all. If I don't block with Triumphant Adventurer, we're taking 9 to 4. So unfortunately, I think I do have to trade off Triumphant Adventurer here. Opponent replays Elrond. I guess I should have taken out the Huntmaster. Blackcleave Cliffs. Land comes into play tapped. Alright, I could play Syr Gwyn. And that would hold off attacks. So I think let's play Syr Gwyn here. Mount Doom. Kind of showing why it's a bit of a problem. We're not playing any of the other pain lands in my colors. Looks like opponent has interaction. Opponent attacks. I think I have to chump with Mystic. Opponent might have an overrun effect. Colossus Hammer on Syr Gwyn, you say? Oh, Chainsaw falls off. I think that's fine. Alright, well, Colossus Hammer proved to be the game-winning draw. We'll take it. On we go. Alright, on the play. I don't have a creature until I play a Kiri. Sword of Fire and Ice could be useful, because it protects against blue. So I think we'll keep this. And then Colossus Hammer with a level 2 Blacksmith talent is pretty nice. So, unfortunately, I don't have Blood Crypt in here. Might want to make that change. So I'd have to search up a tap land if I want black mana. But I think that's quite alright. I can play Blacksmith Talent and Colossus Hammer on 2. And it's not like I can level up Blacksmith Talent on turn 2 anyway. So I think that's fine. Might need to adjust the mana base here. We'll get Svitrium. Forging the Tyrite Sword is interesting. Silent plays Animation Module, no other play. I could play Akiri this turn, level up Blacksmith's Talent next turn, so that I can equip Colossus Hammer for free. I think that's what we do here. Opponent plays Trawler Drake, that's fine. SRAM, would have preferred a land. Alright, equip Colossus Hammer for free. Draw a card with the Kiri, there's our land. Opponent chumps. They reconsider. Take 13. Alright, if opponent doesn't interact with Akiri this turn, they tap out for Zimone. Alright, those are both blue creatures. Colossus Hammer is colorless, so it doesn't fall off if I play Sword of Fire and Ice. So opponent is just dead here. Alright. Well, that was quick. We'll take it. On we go. On the play, can't play Cole the Forge Master on 2 right now, but I can play Cold Steel Heart or Mindstone. Only 2 lands, so maybe we take our free mulligan to try to find 3 lands, because I don't know how many times I've kept a hand with 2 lands and then never drawn land 3. I like the ramp. I think we take our free mulligan, look for 3 lands. Alright, here we go. And we have Leyline Axe. So we get to play that right away. Eden Raucous Theater. Happy to get another land. Opponent leads with tap land. Happy to see that. And then I think in Stormfist Crusader, equip Stormfist Crusader with Leyline Axe. And then turn 4 into Kellen, or the Adventure on Kellen. Opponent plays Fanatic of Ronus. Steel Claw Lance. Could play an equip. But we do more damage equipping Leyline Axe. Ramps more with Chromatic Lantern, and ramps more with Bramble Familiar. Astor giving my equipment equip cost 1 with Colossus Hammer when I already have a double striking creature seems pretty good to me. We hit Sword of Vengeance off Astor. The opponent does have a lot of mana.
Phyrexia is the end of evolution.
Looks like Nissa is going to destroy a Leyline Axe. That's too bad. but opponent is dead to Colossus Hammer. And opponent concedes. Alright. Well, no surprise there. Well, despite opponent getting off to a good start with a ramp deck, are getting to equip Colossus Hammer on the cheap gets it done again. Alright. On we go. On the draw, definitely unfortunate against a Voya Jaws the Conclave deck. I do have 4 cards I can play with the lands I have, but as I've said many a time, it can be a bit risky keeping a hand with 2 lands in case you never draw a land 3, so I think we take our free mulligan here. Alright, land, 3 lands, and we have swords. Voya does have ward 3, so we need to have land 4 by the time opponent plays Voya in order to swords Voya. But at least we have some interaction. So I think we can keep this. Surprise, surprise, opponent leads with Elvish Mystic. We draw land 4. Playing Dauntless Bodyguard without a creature to protect with it is a little bad. And also, no surprise, opponent going wide with Elves to maximize Voya, putting a ton of +1/+1 counters on creatures. So we don't have attacks. Triumphant Adventurer. I think we play that over Inti. No blocks. Opponent fetches Lush Portico, so they're still at 3 mana. Plays Ozolith. Attacks with token reconsiders. I don't know, if I was them, I probably should have attacked with both Elderly Mentor and Elf Warrior, because I was not going to block either one of them, but they probably want as many elves as they can keep for Voya. There's not really anything I want to discard. Maybe Dragonwing Glider can go. And then if we put a +1/+1 counter on Triumphant Adventurer, it can attack past opponent's creatures. And then I think if we play a land then we can't play a land off Inti, so I think we just attack with Triumphant Adventurer and see what we get. So we'll discard Dragon and Glider. Sword of Forge and Frontier, that's too bad because that would have been good. I've already got 2 lands in hand. Although I'm just going to shuffle that back in. Probably, you know what, I should have arranged the trigger orders so that the Triumphant Adventurer Scry happened before Inti. Yep, that was a mistake. Oh well. The Sword of Forge and Frontier would be pretty good in this matchup. There's Voya. Doesn't have haste. And Drill. Well, I think it's just fetch untapped land with Scalding Tarn, Swords, Voya. I'll get a dual land. I think we'll discard Bladehold Cleaver here. Oh, so I couldn't arrange the Triumphant Adventurer's trigger to happen before Inti's. Cavalier of Dawn. Let's make a treasure so we can play and equip Anduril. Opponent chumps. Triumphant Adventurer does have trample thanks to Inti. Alright, Iridescent Blade Master, another elf. Opponent misses land drops. Looks like they might activate Ozolith here. They do. Triumphant Adventurer can still attack past Blade Master. I think I'm fine trading Bodyguard for the Elderleaf Mentor here, because that's one pure elf. Land. I don't want to play that out. So it does mean I won't have a card to discard to Inti. I could try to hit land off Inti, but if I don't, it's kind of a disaster. And then I can equip Inti, and he just trades for Blade Master. Alright. So now Inti triggers with Triumphant Adventurer. I guess I should have made opponent lose 1 life and I gain 1 life, but because I actively want them to attack with the Blade Master. Opponent's been missing land drops, which is pretty lucky for me. He's branching evolution, they can activate Ozolith. So that Blade Master, don't think, well, I guess they might as well attack, so they can't block Triumphant Adventurer. Alright. I do like the idea of playing Syr Gwyn and drawing a card off Triumphant Adventurer attacking. I'll also draw a card off Lost Mine of Helm Delver reaching Temple of Dumathoin. I can equip Inti for free with Anduril, and if I do, that means the 1/1 spirits are attacking. So that means we're doing 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, up to 14 points of damage. And then I want Syr Gwyn and Triumphant Adventurer to draw cards so that I have a card to discard to Inti. Opponent's down to 2. We're going to lose Black Blade Reforged, which is kind of too bad. I could equip Anduril to Syr Gwyn. I think that's a good idea, because that means that they have to spend mana pumping Iridescent Blade Master if they want to attack past Syr Gwyn. And I think we want that. Because we're at 14 life, so we can take a hit from the Blade Master. Alright, that's fine. Opponent's been missing land drops, which has been pretty lucky for me. Opponent keeps 2 on top. I could trade, but opponent's almost tapped out. Solar Transformer. Alright, and there we go. Alright, so that was our Syr Gwyn deck. If we can get an equipment down and equip it for cheap, we can usually do pretty well. And we do have some ramp, so occasionally we can ramp Syr Gwyn out ahead of schedule, although we don't have a lot, so that doesn't happen that often. So you can see how the Syr Gwyn deck works. I think Syr Gwyn probably not the most powerful commander, because you're kind of having to try to do so many things at once, between ramping so you can play Syr Gwyn ahead of schedule and your more expensive equipment, playing knights, and playing equipment. So it's a kind of a busy deck, but it's fun to play and really satisfying when everything clicks. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to see another commander from Throne of Eldraine or from another set, let me know in the comments. And have a nice one. Bye.